The ride is a bus service that provides transportation to the Brigham Young University community in Provo, Utah, United States. The service is owned and operated by Student Movement, Inc., and operates under the brand The Ride. Although the ride began as a limited-service paid shuttle bus, but the fall of 2015 it expanded to limited-service bus routes that are free to BYU students. Description: the purpose of the ride's shuttle service is to help transport thousands of BYU students between the main campus of BYU and their off-campus housing, while the Utah Transit Authority is the primary public transit service provider in Provo and along the Wasatch Front. The founders of the ride believed that Utah was not adequately addressing this transportation need. The growing success of the ride seems to support this supposition. The ride provides direct shuttles from most of the major off-campus housing areas to the center of the BYU campus. The ride's motto is the ultimate BYU shuttle service, and its website encouraged students to stop overpaying for gas, scraping your frozen windshield, and fighting for parking spaces. In addition to its regular weekday service, the ride also provides Saturday morning grocery runs that pick up passengers along the regular routes. But instead of going to BYU campus, they go to Macy's grocery store before providing a return trip about 40 minutes later. On-campus student housing complexes not included along regular routes are also served by the grocery runs. Although the ride serves the BYU community, is authorized to drive buses on BYU property, and SMI has service contracts with both BYU and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. SMI is not affiliated with either BYU or the LDS Church, and neither BYU nor the LDS Church have any interest in SMI. Destinations: the following housing areas and other miscellaneous destinations are served by the ride. Rates: as of the fall 2015 semester, the ride is free to all BYU students, faculty, and other employees with the BYU ID. Prior to the fall of 2015, students could purchase a pass for $99 per semester or $179 per school year. In addition, some apartment complexes subsidized the residence passes such that they could be purchases for $79 per semester. History. Origins. Since at least 2002, BYU provided students the opportunity for either free or substantially subsidized UTA bus passes of one form or another. However, in the fall of 2010, BYU announced that beginning with the fall 2011 semester, it would dramatically reduce the amount allotted to UTA pass subsidies. The result was that even with the continued nominal subsidy, there was a dramatic increase in the cost of a UTA pass for students. In mid-2011, BYU announced that beginning with the winter 2012 semester, Student Movement, Inc. would begin transporting students between certain off-campus housing units and BYU campus. SMI was founded earlier that year by two BYU seniors who believed there was a need for a more specialized service than UTA provided. Although earnest discussions with the BYU administration had begun in March, it took until June to reach a firm agreement with BYU and have it signed. As soon as the agreement was executed, SMI ordered 3 buses. The used buses ordered by SMI were similar in size to the 40-foot buses utilized by UTA, but would use cleaner-burning compressed natural gas for fuel, rather than diesel fuel. Accordingly, Mr. Lou Akanga claimed the buses would have 50% lower emissions. Another advantage of the new service is that the shuttles would connect directly with the center of BYU campus. Plans for new shuttle included service to 3 areas: the King Henry area, the Alpine Village and Glenwood area, and the Raintree and Yview Park area. The single on-campus stop was initially adjacent to the Museum of Art. SMI also indicated that plans included Saturday morning grocery runs. The cost for the new service was set at $99 per semester, but residents of the Glenwood and Raintree complexes would have the passes subsidized such that their cost would be $79 per semester. Even before it began service, SMI hoped to expand its service beyond the three destination areas, particularly the Carriage Cove and Branbury area. Paid service. Just over a year after the ride began service, BYU announced that it would be permanently closing most of East Campus Drive and the eastern end of North Campus Drive, even though the closures would be in phases. The first phase would begin in May and would include closing East Campus Drive between 1100 North and Heritage Drive. As a result of this closure, access to the Museum of Art stop from the shuttle coming from the southeast was no longer feasible, so its on-campus stop moved to a location immediately east of the Crabtree Technology Building on East Campus Drive. However, this same closure also moved the UTA stop transfer location from immediately east of the Wilkinson Student Center to the perimeter of campus at about 800 East 900 North. The end result of these changes was that the ride could continue picking up and dropping off students 1,000–1,500 feet closer than any UTA stop. By the fall of 2013, an additional route was added to serve the Y-Mount Terrace on-campus married student housing complex. In October 2013, the Digital Universe reported that missionaries at the temporary West Campus of the Missionary Training Center, which opened in early 2013, were utilizing limited shuttle service provided by Student Movement. Primarily, the ride transported the missionaries between the main MTC campus, the Provo Temple, and sometimes the Marriott Center. The MTC discontinued the use of the temporary West Campus by the end of 2014. Free service. In December 2014, BYU announced that beginning with the fall 2015 semester, most of the ride's routes would be enhanced and would be free to all BYU students, faculty, and other employees with the BYU ID. However, the shuttle route that previously ran to Y-Mount Terrace would be eliminated. Also included in the announcement, BYU indicated that it would begin charging students to park in most of the on-campus lots that had been previously free to students. BYU anticipated that the new $60 parking fee would cover the cost of the ride's shuttle service. However, since the ride does not operate during the spring and summer term, parking in all the student lots will still be free during that time of year. BYU stated that the changes were intended to incentivize students to utilize other transportation options instead of the cars. The ride's shuttle service eliminates the time that many students spend parking and then walking to the various parts of campus. Early on, plans for the free service included a continuation of the stop near the lodges at Glenwood Apartments on Route 1. However, this stop was eventually dropped from route along with service to these complexes. The route that served Y-Mount Terrace was also dropped from plans for the ride's free service. However, some Y-Mount residents have petitioned to reinstate this service. In support of the petition, the students indicate that this route would also provide service for all students to the Student Health Center. Routes. In addition to the regular routes, the ride also provides Saturday grocery runs to Macy's in North Provo. Regular service is provided from about 7:30 a.m. to about 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday and from about 7:30 a.m. to about 6 p.m. on Fridays during the fall and winter semesters, but not on school holidays. During peak times, the shuttles run every 15 to 20 minutes. The Saturday grocery runs pick up at 9 o'clock to 9:50 a.m. and leave Macy's at 9:50 to 10:40 a.m.